How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, man. How's your day been? Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Cairns.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just flew back yesterday. It was in Dubai for a week, and then yeah, in Cairns for a week now with family.
Yeah,
Super.
nice. What do you think of Dubai?
Yeah, it was great, man. I've only ever flown through and stopped for like a night. Going to Europe or whatever over the last few years. But I went like
Yeah.
when I was 16, so I saw when it was half built. It was pretty epic then. But yeah, it was great. But it was more just to recharge before I come back home.
Yeah, because I think I read something on your Instagram that you don't like to have long flights. You'd rather just stop somewhere, chill there for a
Yeah,
day.
yeah, can't stand it, man. Yeah.
Yeah, travel's harder.
Yeah. Um, yeah, how you been?
Yeah, good man. Can't complain. It's obviously peak season, so it's good times.
You busy?
Yeah, we've been pretty busy, man. But yeah, no, it's been good. So basically, we went pretty hard from June. We acquired our first one at the start of June, and
Okay.
we basically just started acquiring pretty heavily. I mean, even prior to June, we did a couple of months where we'd actually go inspect, research certain areas and stuff like that before we actually pulled the trigger. Because obviously, I've got a business partner. I guess we looked at it and said, let's do the research first because once we go, we know we're going to go. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got our first in June, and then from there just started growing, which is awesome. And we're at 9 at the moment, so
Epic. Just for the people watching, it's currently 1st of Feb, so you guys started about 7 months ago, I
yeah,
suppose.
7 months hosting.
Okay, so it took you 6 months to before you started. Um, you had some difficulties getting them in high season, was that right?
No, we never really had any difficulty, to be honest. It was more, I think where we really pulled the trigger was just before June. So we're looking at about April. That's when we started inspecting and stuff like that. But it was more or less to meet the agents, get a feel for the areas.
Okay.
And then once we decided on what area we wanted to focus on, that's when we said, okay, let's actually get our first one now. And then I'd probably say around 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks of inspecting and putting in apps, because obviously at that time we didn't have a track record, I guess you could say. So the
Yeah.
agents would be like, "So show me a company, like show us some other B&Bs that you've got," and we didn't have that.
What did you
So,
say?
what's that?
What did you tell them?
Oh, well, I mean, because we'd be talking about what we're doing and stuff like that, because obviously we have to get agreed that, we need to have permission to sublet it. But they'd say to us, like, oh, can you show me your other properties that you have on Airbnb and your profile and stuff like that? But I guess we didn't have that behind us at the time. So, and it'd just be sort of talking about the other businesses that we had built. And I guess we had a bit of a reputation for that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
being from the industry and owning my own office and stuff like that, I guess I had that. I knew a few agents in the area as well. So it sort of helped.
Yeah, right. Okay. And just to take it back, so you guys bought it in January, which is 13 months ago. So what was the reason you guys wanted to do the Airbnb business?
I guess I wanted to get my time back, to be honest. I had with 25 staff. I was working 14-hour days. I'd have Sunday as my day off, but if something came up, I'd have to go and do it.
Mm.
And I've got two little kids and a wife, so even if I was at home on a Sunday with them, I was always on the phone. I wasn't really there mentally. So,
Right.
and look, the money was great in that. It was awesome, and I think that was something I was always gunning towards was to make that sort of money. But I think when I got there, I realized that that's not success to me anyway. I was
Yeah.
like, my friends that were on, 70, 80K a year and had all the time in the world, they're sitting there envying me, but I'm actually envying them. I'm like, I wish I could go do that on Saturday. Like, I haven't had a Saturday off in 8 years. Like, I wish I could do that. So it was just like, yeah, I was like, this ain't success. So I guess the B&B stuff, I was like, and obviously I saw a few things that you were doing, and it looked like a business that you could, scale pretty quickly, but also not be so hands on. And I think managing remote's massive because I always had to be very close to my office, very close to the properties I was selling, and all that sort of stuff. But I love the idea, and I love this business because you can literally go to Bali for 2 weeks, or for a month if you want, and you can run the business, and yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so have you already outsourced it to that point yet, or are you
Um,
still?
nah, so basically, like, I guess you could say almost every month up until like November, we've been like, we were just in a massive growth phase.
Mm,
So that is just looking for properties, getting new ones, setting them up. We'd have a good looking profit, and then we'd be like, all right, let's get another two this month. Then we get another two, and we're just reinvesting and stuff like that. I guess our main focus was to sort of get to a level where we really take advantage of peak season. We didn't want to miss out on that.
yeah,
Which it's been a great peak season for us, and we're stoked about it, to be honest. Um, but yeah, no, it's been a crazy ride, that's for sure.
yeah. Okay. So out of the nine that you got so far, were they all unfurnished when you rented them? And you're
We're
only
probably at
doing,
about,
so also you're only doing rental arbitrage, is that right? No
Yeah,
management.
only doing rental arbitrage, not doing any management and stuff like that. Would rather just do the rental arbitrage, just have full control, not have to speak to anyone. I
Yeah,
did that in my last job. I can't be bothered,
yeah,
but yeah, we're probably at like probably 60% we have to furnish ourselves. 40% are furnished.
okay.
I guess it just depends. We're looking for certain areas, certain buildings, and stuff like that, and a certain level of quality. So we're pretty picky. But if it ticks the boxes, we don't mind if it's furnished or unfurnished. To be honest.
Yeah, cool.
But actually, coming back to that automation side of things that you were talking about, we're not at that level, but we are at the moment looking to get our first VA. We haven't got too many issues in terms of things coming up. I mean, there's me and my business partner, so we don't mind splitting it up. Like if something goes, something happens and we need to go into the city, one of us will say, "Oh, I'll go in," or "You go in." It's pretty chilled, I guess, having the business partner there. So, but we're
Yeah,
getting to the stage where inquiries getting pretty heavy. We're back into our, well, not right now, but in the next month or so, we'll get into our growth phase again. So yeah, we're looking for our first VA just to manage inquiries, stuff like that, so we can kind of be hands off there. But in terms of cleaning and stuff like that, yeah, all of our cleaning, linen, and everything like that is outsourced.
yeah, cool. All right. And how big do you want to grow it?
Um, to be honest, I think like around 20 or 30 properties would be fine. I mean, the income's great. So I think 20 or 30, and that'll give us time to sort of be able to focus on other things that we want to do. I mean, yeah, I said before I wanted to get my time back and stuff, and that's why we did it. But as well, we wanted to be able to have cash flow and focus on other stuff like property development and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
So if we get this to a certain point and then we can fully, essentially similar to what you did and fully automate it, then we can just our day to day can just be focused on prospecting developments and stuff like that. So
yeah, yeah. I'm keen to get into stuff like that as well.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, I think 20 to 30 properties, like 30 properties is about the max before you need to then get like twice as many VAs. I've got kind of two and a half VAs, like full time.
yep,
And then yeah, once you start pushing towards 30, then they get overworked and then you need to get on two people per shift. And that's the sort of
yep,
the yeah. So then if you can get all of those rental arbitrage, that's really good margins because that's like the same as having 60 management deals
yeah,
or more, maybe like 90 management deals. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's it. And look, I think it's one of those things where I think getting the first three properties was pretty tough. That was a bit of a grind, and then almost yeah, the last six have been pretty straightforward, pretty easy.
Right.
Now it's at the point where like yeah, I'm just getting sent off markets like all the time, and I'm sort of just picking and choosing how much I want to grow it from here. Like I've built
Sweet.
all like it's just like any business, it's all relationship based, and as I
Yeah.
said, I was so that's literally all I did 24/7. So I'm kind
Yeah.
of just transferring those skills into this, and now yeah, I mean I'll literally just every week I'm getting sent a property, and someone like yeah, I can't pass this up. Or even in December, I'm like, me and Nick said, we're like, we're not doing anything in December. Like, we literally made a pact and then we picked two up. And I'm like, fuck, we just can't help ourselves.
Yeah, man.
Do you pick up
So,
any?
Do you pick up many in summer?
I used to try and it wasn't like, it was just too difficult.
Because you got to dig into your peak season. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you start up, like you usually don't make a profit in your first month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, no, I just would usually prefer to get it
Have
a
a bit
minimum
of leeway of at
one.
least 4 to 8 weeks type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you will try and I also want to enjoy summer as well. But yeah, I would try and do it in the other 9 months of like off peak season, basically. And
Yeah.
then because yeah, it's just easier to get the deals then, I think.
Yeah, I know. It was just one of those things. We just couldn't help ourselves. And then it was like, it's like a week before Christmas and we're so busy. And we were at the time changing cleaning companies because they just kept stuffing up. And I'm like, I'm setting up 2 properties, changing cleaning companies. And it was just, oh man.
But
Oh
yeah,
yeah, every
between
time you
Christmas
change
came and
cleaning
I was happy.
companies, it's a pain. But so you got a
Oh,
good cleaning company and they're getting good reviews?
Yeah, no, the cleaning company now is good. You look, at the end of the day, I think with any cleaning company, you've got to be on top of them to a certain extent. But yeah, the first ones we had, man, they were shocking. Like we just started to get way too many complaints, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's at the point now where it's just gone too far. Like I even had a cleaner go back to a property because it was dirty, and like I was at the property with him, and he's like vacuuming, and he's like, all right, like I'm done now. And I'm like, you've come back to clean it properly. And then I'm like, look on the ground. And like, he was about to leave and there was still shit there. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're
Yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they talk the talk and don't walk the walk. Some of them. Don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so could you share roughly how your numbers went with the 9 properties in like last month, for example, or the one before?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I November was roughly like 20 profit, but that was picking up a few properties. So that's 20K profit, but reinvesting. December was 65K profit with a couple reinvesting.
54K.
Yeah, 65.
Wow.
Um,
Insane.
and that was, yeah, that, as I said, that was with setting 2 up. And January's 50. And Feb's going to be our biggest month. So Feb's actually, because yes, Feb's going to be 75 profit.
$75,000 profit. Wow. With 9 properties. That's
Yeah.
significant. So you're
yeah.
getting a bit bigger properties, like two bedroom or bigger?
Yeah, like 1 bedroom, studio, and 2 bedders is basically what we've got. We've seen a few 3 bedders, but I don't know. I think there's probably more. It's hard to say because I haven't had one, but I don't know. I think that leads to too many guests, too many potential issues. So I haven't looked at any of that. But yeah, mainly 2 bedders and 1 bedders really.
Yeah, nice. Um,
But I think it's massive to find the right ones. Like the second property that I ever picked up, man, it is such a nice property. The views are crazy. It's like fully renovated, and as soon as it came on, like I was like, this is obviously I only had one property at this stage, so I'm like refreshing every 10 minutes, like I used to when I was to see what was coming online. And I saw this one come on, and I instantly called the agent, and I had a chat with her, and like I could just tell what sort of agent she was. And I was like, she's just sort of like lazy. I can tell she doesn't want to do it. She's like, oh, I've got tenants in there. They're moving out over the weekend. Like, I'll have to see what I can do in the week. And I literally just made it easy for her. I said, look, how about this? Can you get me through with the tenant? Like, you don't even have to come. Let me through. And if I like it, I'll pay a deposit.
yeah.
And she's like, and it was so cheap, man. It was so under market value. It was ridiculous. It was under 750. And I
Wow.
was like, this is insane. And like the views were like the best views you can get in the area, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, no worries. And then I went through. Before I'd even got there, she'd already sent me the trust account details. I haven't even put in an application. And then yeah, I went through, paid the 745, and it was happy days. And that's like one of our most profitable, and it's just so crazy.
That's epic. Yeah, when you find a gem like that.
Yeah.
All right. And so any tips for others in like something other than like finding a cleaning company or something like that, but
Yeah, like probably like don't spread yourself thin. Like if you're going to target an area, I'd probably say like just focus on that area. Like you don't want to have, you know,
yeah.
one here and 5 or 6 kilometers away, you've got one here and then another 6 kilometers away. So I think it's just, look, maybe if you've got the first couple, it's okay because you're not going to have that many things come up. But if you're looking to actually scale and you want 10 or you want 20, like, is it going to make sense when you've got 20? Like if you've got 4 maintenance issues at that one time and they need, you need to action them, it's like you're really going to bounce around. Like you want them more close together. I'd say that.
Yeah.
Um, and probably like similar to what we did, like I'd say do the research before you actually pick your area. So as I said, me and my business partner, we knew that once we started, we were going to grow it really fast.
Mm.
So we weren't, I guess you could say, like we weren't desperate to like start and get our first one. So we thought, let's just chill it out for the first 2 months and like speak to agents, run lots of feasibilities on all these areas. And looking back at it now, I'm so thankful that we did that, because we're going to go to a particular area and we're looking at it now and it would have been terrible. And we thought, and it kind of made sense, but yeah, we did our research, and after a couple of months, we're like, no, I don't think that's the go actually. And I think as well, if you're doing research in a certain month, you've got to take into consider, like as an example, if someone was to start in like right now, they'd be looking at the prices and they'd be, oh, like, is this what it's going to be like every month? Like, but it's not. So you've got to think about that sort of stuff. So we did a lot of research like in and around like winter. So we're kind of sitting there going, well, if this is worst case scenario, then I'm pretty happy with that. So,
Okay.
so yeah, definitely do your research first. Like I guess once you start and you have properties, I'd say like sit on like literally just instead of watching TV or whatever you do at night, it's like just sit on Price Labs for like the first 3 months, just live on there and just play around with a few things, like see how people react to increases in price or decreases and stuff like that, and just come up with a pricing strategy. Like at the end of the day, we know like the far out bookings from like 4 to 8 weeks away, they're important. And I guess if you have it up high enough, you land those like real big bookings. But at the same time, what if you drop it like by another 5 or 6%? So instead of getting 2 really high bookings, you might get like 8. They're 5% less, but you've got 8 of them. So then when you're 2 weeks out and you're like having to fill gaps, you're actually not having to fill as many gaps, but like your actual revenue's gone up. And I think that's a massive part, because at the end of the day, we're talking essentially about your business's revenue. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a small thing. So I think that's so
Rather than
important.
like
Once
an
you
ego of
get
trying to get those good booking confirmed screenshots.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's important. So I'd say like, yeah, definitely once you start, like just live on that thing, get comfortable with it, know it back to front. I'm trying to think anything else. Yeah, no, that's a, like, and obviously, as I said before, like build the relationships with the agents.
Yeah, cool. And what do you think of the business model compared to, do you have any knowledge of other business models, or it just?
Yeah, look, I left school. I lost my license back when I was younger for driving under the influence. So I ended up jumping into a TAFE course. And as soon as I finished that course, I went into and, worked as an associate, worked my way up to an, and then started, working in an area. And then the number one in that area said, and I want you to come and work for me. Started working with him. He was his own working for an agency. And then me and him ended up going into business and did that for a few years. And look, it was great. We got to a, for me, I'm just like, yeah, time is everything. And if I had no time to, like, it even comes down to I wasn't looking after my health, because I had no time to do that stuff, and health is wealth. Like I got to 110 kilos. So I was a big boy. I'm 95 now, so I've got the time to go to the gym, go for runs, and all that sort of stuff. But like even just in general, spending time with my family and stuff like that. Obviously, yeah, this business is way better than my previous one.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you can kind of forego that extra money. Like I guess you were making like heaps more money in your than this, but you're happy
Yeah,
you earn
yeah,
less with the freedom.
yeah, and that's it. But I also look at it and go like, I wasn't able to scale from where, at the end of the day, I've been doing it for 7 months, and we're looking at, we're having months now where we're doing like anywhere between like 60 and 80. Obviously it's peak, but I wasn't able to scale that quickly. And especially when I started my business, it's like, the first year, it was a grind. It was,
Yeah, like
getting your name out.
you had to like, I mean, that it's a career as well. Like you had to earn the right to have the chance to become partner with your boss for
yeah,
it.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So it was. I mean, in terms of, yeah, I definitely think this time next year I'll be making more doing this than what I'd be making in that.
Really, even after splitting with 50-50 with your
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, nice.
Because as I said, it's all starting to come organically now, like in terms of growth. So I think that's a big thing, because if I'm genuinely sitting here, like I don't really have to prospect for listings anymore on this. I'm getting messages all the time now with, like they're not even online, like you can't even see them, because they like me, they trust me, they know I don't muck around, they like to deal with me, they know my past, they know what I used to do, so they're just kind of like, now it's just like that chat every week, like, what have you got coming up? They're like, oh dude, I've actually got the perfect one for you, I went and saw them yesterday, here's a video. And then I go, yeah, like I'll come see it today. And then if I like it, they know, like I just pay it on the spot. So I think from now we'll be able to grow very quickly. But I think for us, it's like we also want to grow at a rate where we can service everyone and set it up in the right way so that we can eventually be hands off. So we don't want to take on 10 properties in the next 3 months and then be sitting there like, oh, I can't find enough VAs, like this is too much and stuff like that. We definitely want to just do it gradually, and that's why we're at the point now where like we need a VA. So it's like you kind of, as you're scaling, you're like, okay, now I realize why we need a VA type thing.
Yeah. Check out there's a fair few lessons in the course on hiring a VA, and yeah, make sure you do
Yeah,
those.
I saw a few of them. Yeah, when I first did it, but I'll probably go back through it, to be honest.
Yeah, sweet. All right, so main takeaways I'm getting for a beginner would be do your research first. Don't just jump into it straight away. Like, watch the whole course, and then what was the other thing? Oh, act fast with the agents. Like, act fast with the agents so they appreciate you. And was that the main ones?
Yeah, and I just said, like, just live on price labs for like at least the first 3 months.
Yeah. Don't forget
that's so important, man. That's literally revenue at the end of the day. Because as I said, if you're 8 weeks out and you land this booking, you're like, those prices are crazy. It's like, okay, but like if you dropped it 5%, you might have 4 of those bookings. I'd rather 4% at 95% than have 1 at 100%, if you know what I mean. Like, you're making more money. So
yeah. All right, cool. And do you have any tips for someone like if you didn't have, how many of the places did you get because you had a relationship with that agent from your previous career versus how many did you get where you could have just been like a,
Yeah, I'd say I've got 3 that have been very influenced by, well, one where I walked into, I didn't even realize. So I walked into this property and I'm just like going to inspect it, and the agent's like, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, hey man, I actually he was, and then he's like, he's like, what are you doing here? And then I explained everything, and then he literally just looked at me, he's like, the place is yours. So I was like, sweet, didn't even have to fight for that one. And then there's another company that I actually went up against, like head to head in an awards night. We were both the last 2 finalists for an award, so they knew me, so that kind of helped as well.
Okay, and what about how many did you get without the previous?
Without the relationship, 6.
Yeah. 6. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you think it's fairly feasible for someone that's never done it before to
yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Like as long as you can, you've got to be able to talk to the agents confidently and just have a conversation with them. Like, don't be too salesy. Don't be too, like, literally just go in there and like what we're doing right now. Just have a conversation. Just be relaxed, chill, but like show them that you're sure of yourself and stuff like that. And that's about it.
And then you're going to make it easy for them is the main thing.
Yeah.
They're usually lazy.
Yes. No, that's exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. All right.